So we've been lied to as a nation, and not once, and not by accident, but really by design from the moment that we were born. And it all started back with this red shield that was hanging from a door in Frankfurt, Germany. In 1743, this goldsmith by the name of Moses Bauer, he runs this gold shop and counting house, and he hangs this sign up with a Roman eagle and this red background, this shield, right? This red shield. And in German, that name, Red Shield, translates to Rothschild. So then he has a son, Mayer Amschel, who basically says, let's ditch the Bauer last name and convert to Rothschild. And so he figures out this cheat code. He says, instead of being a coin shop and a counting house, if I go and loan money to kings instead of peasants, I don't just make this profit, I actually can control empires. And so because he understood kings repay debt with taxes, and when you control the debt of a nation or a kingdom, you essentially own that kingdom or the nation without ever wearing a crown or being in charge. So he then sends out his 5 sons to Europe's power centers. We're talking London, Paris, Vienna, Naples, Frankfurt. Just like that, this family coin shop and counting house becomes a silent hand behind world wars, regime changes, revolutions, and they don't take sides. They actually fund both sides at the same time. And so because bloodshed creates debt and debt creates profit, they came in and started taking over nations and kingdoms. And now you fast forward down the line to America. We said no to this centralized banking system twice. Andrew Jackson actually shut down the second central bank. He called them a den of vipers. Abraham Lincoln, who printed debt-free money, greenbacks, was taken out. So in 1910, after all this happened, 7 men, Rothschild agents, Rockefeller bankers, Morgan loyalists, they snuck off into this private island called Jekyll Island in Georgia. And they write this plan that would enslave the entire nation. It's called the Federal Reserve Act. They passed this in 1913, where a private bank prints money for nothing, backed by nothing. There's no gold behind it. They borrow this money. You get taxed to pay the interest to pay this back, this fake debt ceiling that we hear about all the time. They knew that Americans and people would eventually fight back because they did twice before. So what they did is they came for the education system. So a year after the Federal Reserve Act was passed, then in 1914, John D. Rockefeller launches what's called the General Education Board. And his words from his own mouth, I need not a nation of thinkers, I need a nation of workers. They erased financial history and literacy. They buried real economics and replaced critical thought and thinking with test bubbles and compliance. And so now we pay taxes for money that doesn't even exist. And this is how the system has continued on. This is why I've always said, end the Fed. Until we do, we're not really free. We're just well-behaved assets in this global Ponzi scheme of centralized banking.